Hello and welcome wherever you are watching around the world to the Australia versus Japan second test match, coming to you live from Punt Road Oval in beautiful sunny Melbourne, Australia. My name's Max Halden and I'm joined by my co-commentator Kylie O'Brien. Kylie, how are you going this morning?
Fantastic, Max. Normally I'm one to complain about the Melbourne weather being from Sydney, but after what we had on Friday night versus today, I think it's fair to say it's very much a delight to be here.
Yes, as you can hopefully see on the stream, it is a beautiful sunny evening, a beautiful sunny morning, I should say, in beautiful Melbourne. There's a little bit of a breeze kicking up, and at the moment we're just waiting on the arrival of both the Australian and the Japanese team. Going to come out of the sheds and welcome everybody here. We'll do the opening ceremony with a few national anthems and an exchange of gifts. But Kylie, let's have a chat about, while we wait, what we can expect to see today. They are coming off a hot game on Friday, and it'll be very interesting to see how it comes together.
Absolutely. We saw two very different styles on Friday night. The Australians very happy to put the disc deep, a high percentage of their goals coming from those deep shots, and then the Japanese playing a lot shorter game. And now we can see the game advisors coming out onto the field.
Yes, game advisors today are Cici Zhang and Mary Tony. Cici will be mic'd up for us today, so during some of the calls we will be able to hear some of the action on the field, which is very exciting.
And we see the game advisors walking past the Golden Wattle Sakura Cup. So as we mentioned on Friday, that is the cup that the two teams are playing for. Sakura being Cherry Blossom, and now we have the Japanese team coming out.
First up, it's Harito HASHIGUCHI from Japan. Number 5, Kana KOBAYASHI. Number 8, Ayumi FUJIOKA. Number 9, Takaharu Komori. Number 11, Takayuki Yamaguchi. Number 15, Saori INOUE. Number 16, Tomoe Tamura. Beautiful bow to the crowd there. Number 17, Risa SHIMADA. Number 19, Masashi KOIKE. Number 22, Taku HONNA, real star for them on Friday night. Number 25, Kenjiro KAWASE. Number 26, Yuki HIRAI. Number 31, Yuko SATO. Number 39, Tomoko INAMURA. Yes. Number 77, a player who we didn't see on Friday night, who's playing with us today, Yuta SHIMURA. We have Andrew Tatsunari KUNIEDA. And last but not least, in number 91, Shiori OGAWA.
Now we see the Australians coming out. Number 1, Lochlan WISE, leading the charge. Number 5, Vivien STETTNER. Vivien didn't play in the first game, so this will be her first outing for the Crocs. Number 6, Calan SPIELMAN. Again, not playing this test, still coming back from injury. Next we have Brendan ASHCROFT. Caught a couple of amazing goals on Friday night. We have number 9, Alex PRENTICE. Local Melbourne player. Number 10, Sebastian BARR. Really ran the offense for the Australians. Traditional bow now from Sebastian. Number 11, Kimberly Spragg. Number 13, Rebecca Brereton. Originally from WA, but now living and playing in Melbourne. Number 14, Mark Evans. Number 17, Michelle PHILLIPS. Gets a big cheer from her home crowd. Number 23, Peter BLAKELEY. Had an outstanding game on Friday night. Number 25, Rob Andrews, youngest player on the Crocs. Also had an excellent game. Number 28, Rosie DAWSON. Number 31, Alex LADOMATOS. Number 35, Catherine PHILLIPS. Another Melbourne local. Number 44, Sarah Wentworth. Number 45, Mark Isherwood. Big cheer for Mark. He's got a lot of family here today. Number 53, Michaela Dignam. Also from Melbourne. Well, originally from South Australia, but now living in Melbourne. Number 70, Adelaide Dennis. Last but not least, Tom Tullett. And another player who had a great game on Friday night with a couple of great hugs.
And now we'll welcome the coaching staff and support staff from both teams onto the field. We have Dan Rule for the Australians and Madoka Aito as the head coaches for both respective teams. There'll now be the national anthems of both countries will now be played here at the ground.
Welcome everybody, my name is Ruben Berg. I'm a Kunitmara man. Kunitmara people come from Warrnambool in southwestern Victoria. But as a Kunitmara man, it is really important for me that we get a chance to acknowledge the traditional owners of this place we are meeting on today, and that is both the Boonwurrung and the Wurundjeri peoples. And their ancestors walked this land where we are here today for tens of thousands of years. So it is very important to be able to acknowledge that. And this place where we are is part of an important place for both the Wurundjeri and the Boonwurrung peoples where they would meet. And you can actually see evidence of that with the scar trees that we have in the car park just around the back here, and the proximity we have to Birrarung, the River of Mist, otherwise known as the Yarra River. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. Thank you. Roll it.
Ruben Berg with a really lovely acknowledgement of the traditional owners. And now we'll have the Japanese anthem.
And a big round of applause from the crowd here as the anthems wrap up. They'll now going to have an exchange of gifts between the two teams.
Looks like we have representatives from the Japanese team giving some gifts to some of the volunteers.
And a good amount of mutual respect here between the two teams as they exchange gifts. Japanese team obviously very thankful for the opportunity to come to Australia, but even more so the Australian team. It's been such a great opportunity to have the Japanese team fly over here for such a short period of time to play these two high quality games. And I'm sure it's going to show on the field the intensity that we see coming out today.
Absolutely. The Japanese team attended the AFL football last night between Collingwood and Hawthorn and got to experience a bit of Australian culture at its best.
Absolutely. We may, in fact, the Japanese team really took to the goal celebrations, or I suppose the goal signal done by the umpire, the classic two kind of guns in front of the body. So we may see a few of those spikes on the field today. Who knows, Kylie? Bring a bit of the AFL here as we are at Punt Road Oval, home of the Richmond Tigers.
Absolutely. I think a good deal of entertainment was provided to the Japanese team at last night's game by number 45, Mark Isherwood, nicknamed Woodley, who's a very passionate Collingwood supporter. And despite his team being down by many points early in the game, they came back for a big win. And I think the excitement that Woodley brought to the game was something that the Japanese team will remember forever.
Absolutely. And Woodley is, of course, Isherwood is, of course, an unforgettable man in many respects. So just a few more official photos being taken here. And Cat Phillips, of course, also as a player in the AFL Women's, helped them get some prime seats. So very exciting.
So we'll just need to do the toss first to work out who's going to be on offense and defense.
Just having the tosses occur now. So as Friday night, we have two tosses of the disc.
On the toss, and Japan expecting defense.
Okay.
And Australia expecting. The ends are on the left of the grandstand. Japan has won the toss for gender for the first point.
Three women.
They have chosen three women for the first point.
So Japan, I think, correct me if I'm wrong,
Correct,
Max,
yeah.
but I believe they've won all four of those
Yeah,
tosses.
massive. Yeah. So obviously Blakely and Wentworth need to
5
work on their
minutes.
tossing skills before World Games.
Yeah, they do.
But Captain Fujioka, they're electing to start on defense again. But this time electing to start on 3 women. So start with 3 women instead of 4. So slightly difference there. But of course, we are playing under the new gender ratio rules today. So the first point will be played with 3 women and 4 boys on each team. Then they will switch to 4 women and 3 boys. Play that for 2 points and then alternate every 2 points after that. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and so on and so forth. It'd be interesting to see once again. How did you feel that affected the game last on Friday night, Kylie? For me, I'm a big fan of it. I really love that it kind of takes some of the thinking out of it, I guess, for coaching staff, and just allows you to kind of get on with the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just seemed to work pretty seamlessly on Friday night, I thought. Both teams obviously adapting to it quickly, and to be honest, it just sort of became a non-issue, I think, Max.
Totally agree. So you want to run us through, I mean, Japan obviously lost the first test match in quite convincing fashion to the Australians, but they're still in with a shot of taking home the trophy.
Absolutely. So just to recap the way that the championship works, or the test match series works, is that if Australia wins the game today, they will they'll win the trophy for the first time. Japan still have an opportunity, but they need to win the game today by a larger margin, or at least the same margin as Australia won on Friday night. So Japan would need to win 13-6, and then if it was tied on points, it would be the team that won this second test match. So
amazing. So Japan will not only be looking for a win, but quite a decisive win if they want to take the trophy.
Absolutely. And it might be a good time to recap a little bit what happened on Friday night and see if both teams come out with a similar approach. For everyone out there who likes a good stat, we had, with Australia's goals that were scored on Friday night, all 13 of the assists, so all 13 of the goals that were thrown by male Crocs.
Wow.
And of the goals caught, 7 were by the men and 6 by the women. So Australia really using both genders there to score the goals, but a lot of those big throws coming from some of their key male handlers. So in particular, Sebastian Barr, Tom Tullett, Peter Blakely, all contributing. Yeah, absolutely.
It was very interesting. By contrast, Japan had some opportunities early with some hucks, and we talked a little bit about this on the stream, but they elected not to do it, and it really piled on some of the pressure on those undercuts, and that was where we were seeing a lot of the turnovers and some of the blocks from the Australian team. So it will be interesting to see. It is a little bit windier here today, but obviously the rain is not the factor that it was on Friday night. Yes. It'll be interesting to see if they loosen up a little bit, throw some of those deep shots early, and put the Australians on notice.
I mean, Japan didn't put up their first huck until they were down 2-5 in that first game. So they really did play a much shorter game. And by that stage, Australia had already completed 4 from 4 hucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Australia didn't have their first turnover on that deep shot until the score was 12-6. So
absolutely,
they really looked to attack deep, and Japan really played that short, sharp game. But as we talked about on Friday, a lot of uncharacteristic turnovers for them. So it'll be really fascinating to see what happens today now that they've had a couple of extra days rest.
Yeah, big difference today. Obviously, the Japanese team on Friday night coming off a long overnight flight, but both teams, of course, now traveling. The Japanese and the Australian teams both had an opportunity to just have a casual throw, a light training session in the park yesterday afternoon, relax in the evening, and they'll be well rested now. So we're hoping to see not only a more intense game, but hopefully a closer one as well.
Yeah, and the crowd always loves to see spectacular defense as well. If we look at Friday night's game, Australia played a lot of different junk looks, trying out different styles, and they came up with 4 blocks throughout the game. In comparison, Japan just the 1 block, and they really did slow the Australians down a lot of the time. But when the Australians could not hit those deep shots, they seemed pretty comfortable moving it up the field with the short, sharp, fast movement.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an issue. It'll be interesting today. So the World Games, as we mentioned in the stream on Friday, games at World Games, they're over 3 days. You play 6 games in total, and the games are only to 13. So it's a very short, sharp, intense, elite experience. Today, my understanding is we're going up to 15 points. Is what I've heard. We will confirm this before at half-time for you, but we may be getting a little bit of bonus action for the crowd that's come down in Melbourne, and it is a big crowd. They're still filing in here to Punt Road, but we're looking like they're filling the stands, and it's going to be a very engaged crowd. Plenty of hometown heroes on the turf today. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, Japan, if they want it, they're going to need to win big. And so they're going to have to come out hard early if they want to get that lead up. And we just maybe lost Carly's microphone a little bit there. Carly, you want to say hi to us again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. I think the first thing that Japan will be looking to do is to really try and consolidate holding their...
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They'll want to be calm, collected on offense, and then they'll be working. Oh, we lost me. Yeah, just we may be dropping in and out just a little bit at the moment, but if we do, I'm sure you'll still enjoy the action on screen, unguided by your fair commentators. So, just a reminder, it's the Japanese starting left of screen here on defense, and it'll be the Australians coming out on offense for this first point. You can see Brendan ASHCROFT as Cat Phillips. We've got Seb Barr and Peter Blakely all on the line. Mark Isherwood getting a call up. Both the Phillips sisters on, and Rosie Dawson. Dawson asked for a shout out to both for any Christchurch Ultimate players watching and any Wollongong Ultimate players watching. So any of you guys out there enjoying the stream today, hopefully she does do you proud. I'm sure she will. And here we go, the first point, a huge roar from the crowd. And it's Phillips who picks the disc up, centers it to Barr. Lots of space for Phillips on that far side of the field. A nice little movement from Isherwood. And it's back to Barr. He's the anchor of this offense as he looks for Blakely. But Rosie, as she makes a swirling cut through, it's just a foul on the mark, it appears. It will be uncontested by the Japanese player, number 22. Disc goes up. Oh, and a nice layout bid there from number 11. Ashcroft with a high count. Barr's managed to reel it in. There's a few deep shots coming, and here goes one. Oh, Woodley. But it's Ashcroft behind who picks up the scraps. Not the prettiest start for the Australian team, but they will take it. But there is a pick signaled on the field, so we're going back.
Back on, Max.
I can now hear you. Kylie O'Brien, welcome back to the commentary.
Appreciate it.
So we're going back. Nice little put to Ashcroft. Beautiful bid. Just unlucky from Yamaguchi. Fully outstretched. And we're back in now. And there's a block from the Japanese team. And now it's number 22, Koike, Onna, who picks up the disc. Looking for an option. Hits number 31, Sato. Sato moves it across the field. Number 15, Inoue. Throws it to the end zone. And that is first blood for the Japanese team. Number 22, Onna. As we said, he was a star for them on Friday night. And it's the Japanese who draw first blood here in Melbourne, Kylie.
Absolutely, and that's really going to give them some confidence. Getting that first break.
Oh, and the goal symbols from the Japanese. That, as we said earlier, they're bringing the AFL spirit here today.
They've really adapted that straight away into their post-goal celebrations.
Absolutely.
They look like they really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, huge. And I mean, we talked about this just a little bit. One thing we saw there quickly, the Australians were looking to pick up the closest player on defense, which is their strategy. They're gender agnostic when it comes to picking up on quick defenses, but it did leave a quick mismatch on the very fast Onna. Even though Dawson is a speedster, it still left Onna with a little bit too much space in the end zone, and they exploited it pretty effectively.
Yeah, I think the damage was probably done quite early from the moment of the turnover, when they were able to really take that fast break on before the Australians had a chance to quickly adapt today. So now the Australians, for the first time really in this test series, under a little bit of pressure. Let's see how they react. A pull going up from the Japanese team. Phillips struggles a little bit in the sun to see it. Back to Barr. Now with Evans. Straight back to Barr in the middle of the field. Using the width there, but it looks like we have a pick signalled on the field.
Interesting. Interesting. We had four picks in the game, and we've already had 2 in the first 2 points here.
Yeah, didn't affect the throw to Phillips, so it stays with her. Back to Barr. Another overthrow from the Australians, so they're straight back on defense, and they're going to have to work hard again to shut this team down. Pass out to the middle. Immediately they look long, and Blakely is able to get right in the way of that one.
Yeah, the Japanese once again airing the disc out. It looks like there's a foul being signalled by the Japanese players, and they're bringing the game advisor in, so we'll let her turn her mic on.
Looks like it's a call from Inoue.
Unfortunately, game advisor's mic is muted, but we can see there's just a bit of discussion. May go some way to explaining why the throw was a bit errant, Kylie. Going up, didn't look exactly like the one she intended out of the hand.
Okay, and so Michelle Phillips saying uncontested.
So it is an
foul.
uncontested foul. Uncontested foul.
Thank you, CC, the game advisor there. All right, so we're back in with the Japanese.
And we have Honna with the disc, and he looks long, puts it up. Blakely's in the space, manages to get in between the 2 Japanese players and affect the D. Well, we're seeing it immediately, the Japanese players looking for those long shots, and particularly coming this direction where it's a little bit more downwind, meaning that they can get a little bit of extra depth on those shots. Australians now have another chance to work it up and score. So we have Honna on the mark with Barr, and we see Japanese players sagging back into the lanes there. Blakely with the disc on the sideline.
Wow, an uncharacteristic
not able to
drop.
grab onto that one, and straight away the Japanese are moving the disc back into the middle of the field. Yamaguchi out to Honna. Inoue. She's looking to go for the around break. There's that inside throw that we expect to see. Looking around again. Good mark from Phillips. Oh, big effort from Barr, but that's a great grab by Honna. Inoue, Phillips on the mark again. Oh,
wow.
Wow. Squeezed that one in to Komori, but Blakely was right there, but could not get the D.
Oh, that was an exciting point there. Few opportunities. Barr scrambling to get it back after that drop on the sideline. You could tell he wanted it, but Honna with a spectacular grab, full reach.
And look, the Australians put on a lot of pressure on defense then, but as opposed to Friday night, the Japanese players just seem to absorb it a little more, take a little bit more time with their options. Really, you can see they're looking for that around break. The Australians are closing it out pretty well, and then they're looking immediately for that inside break.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see Phillips, who was on the mark, Kat Phillips in this instance, she moved around to make that inside shot. They'd love to score off those insides, and even giving an around, which maybe looked open, there was an opportunity, but because they love those insides, it actually was a very smart defensive move from Phillips, caused a few more passes. As you just see, just bouncing off the hands of Barr. Wasn't a particularly challenging catch, but and fully outstretched layout, but Honna in the right place. Yeah, really nice play from the Japanese. Good pressure from the Australians, what we expect, but now they're 2-0 in the hole, and their offense desperately needs a hold here. Otherwise, we're in exactly the opposite territory as what we saw in Sydney. It's Wise now with the disc in the middle. They brought out a new line, the Australians, hitting across to Tullett on the sideline. They've got Wentworth streaming deep, but they don't hit her. It's back to Wise. Some big break side cuts coming. Number 9 on the Australian team.
Prentice.
It's Prentice and an upfield pass. Andrews with that high backhand. Wentworth gets it across to Wise, who attacks it, and a hammer straight out of the hands to Prentice.
Oh, wow.
A massive roar from the crowd.
And look, that's what you get from Lockie Wise. He is X Factor personified.
Absolutely. That was just a wonderful passage of play there. The Australians looked like a little bit of pressure was building, but Wise attacked it and then attacked the disc upfield as well.
And look, while that's an unconventional throw that he's put there, you'd have to say there was not a lot of pressure on Prentice as she's catching the disc. That is a really visionary throw from Lockie Wise, and that's what you want to see him do. And I love to see the confidence in the Australians. Don't care that they're 2-0 down. He's still going to take that shot when he sees it on.
Yeah, very exciting. And Prentice, of course, moved very quickly. She got a nice big undercut, dished it quickly off to Andrews, who then bolted to the end zone, and that's something you definitely expect to see from the Australians. And yeah, beautiful passage of play.
Well, that'll have them feeling pretty excited about this next point and working really hard to get that break back immediately. So we've got Lockie Wise staying on for that point, for this next point, and with the pull, he had some fantastic pulls on Friday night, so we'll see how he goes here, pulling slightly into the wind. Sits up. And we have it being caught by Koike. Moving the disc, Australia's gone into some junk again. Japanese players just happy to move the disc across.
Looks like they've
There's
now
that inside.
transitioned to person defense.
Kawase with the disc out to Fujioka. Back to Kawase. We see that gender mismatch again. Lockie Wise working hard against Kunieda. Oh, wow. That's a big D. That is a big D. Australians move it straight away through LADOMATOS. Back to Wise. Oh, he's put up a big flick with a lot of height there.
Well, Wentworth got first fingers, but wasn't enough in the end.
We have disc back with Koike. Back to him again. They're looking for the short, sharp movements. Back to Fujioka. She has to hit the ground to get that one. She's not afraid to put it. Fakes the deep shot. Back to Koike. Up again to Kunieda. And he puts the long shot there. Heading down to Kawase. Score for the Japanese team.
Beautifully weighted pass there from Kunieda. Kunieda, the only non-Japanese born player on the team. He's an American by birth. But that was to come back, of course, from a beautiful D from Lockie Wise in that point. But Lockie Wise then with maybe a bit of an impetuous deep shot.
Yeah, and I think the Australians will keep looking deep. But Tom Tullett had made a great little in-cut that I think if he'd had his time again, maybe Wise would have hit that play instead. But he didn't. And the Japanese have made the Australians pay for that mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a nice little passage of play there. As we're going to watch this block again. Oh, Lockie Wise just hangs in the air for an extra half second. It looked like he jumped maybe a touch too early, but got the old salmon wobble in the air, which kept him up in time for that good block. So, and yeah, it was Wentworth who was under that huck in the end. It just died in the wind.
Did.
But it was a very tough grab, and would have been impressive if she had managed to hold on to it. So the Australians, and this time it's Evans and Barr who will start behind the disc. Cat Phillips cutting out of the stack. The Japanese clog it. It's Evans is a very, very loose marks. Everybody sagging for the Japanese team. And the Australians will be happy to move it around to start with. Interesting here. Now Evans finds the cross over the top. The movement once again. He's got Dignam on the side, who he finds. Dignam now knocking on the door. Oh, and easy as you like. Ashcroft to Dawson for the score.
I really like the way that Dignam held her space, held the width there down the field, and just provided options for them to throw to. So she received the little scuba straight away from Evans out there, and then Blakely able to hit her again down that sideline. She
was speaking before that she's really enjoyed playing on this team. The communication levels have been huge, and you could see her, both verbally and non-verbally communicating to her teammates that she was open. And that made a huge difference, made the score really look pretty easy in the end for the Australians.
Absolutely.
Interesting D from the Japanese. Very, very loose marks, kind of somewhere between just a junky look, but didn't seem very effective. Obviously stopped a pull play, and that may have been the aim from the Japanese coaching staff, but once the transition happened, it didn't look particularly damaging.
Yeah, and we saw on Friday night with the Japanese markers sagging off the Australians that often it left them an opportunity to hit those deep shots with no mark on. They haven't been exposed. The Japanese haven't been exposed today with that, but the Japanese also looking for a lot more options deep themselves, which is a real change in tactics from Friday night. So we're back in play. Again, we've got the Australians just playing a bit of help D here. Fujioka, and back to Shimura. First time playing for him today. Working it back between Shimura. Koike with the disc to Shimura again. Back down.
So that's Shimada.
Back to Shimura.
The Australians really sticking in this zone defense.
There's the look. Oh, and that's what they wanted.
Wow.
That's what they wanted. Rob Andrews just hunting at the back there, looking for options. Tullett with the disc. Takes the undershot to Wentworth. She's happy to get it back to him. Stettner with the disc. Oh, and an overshot there by Stettner. Just a little too high for Spragg there. And Japan are back in again. Australia back to their original D. We've got Inamura with the disc. Puts it back to Koike.
Big fake sends LADOMATOS on the layout.
Shimura again. Inamura. Again, they're back to just the short, sharp passes around. They can't get through that Australian defense at the moment. They're being really patient. With Shimura. Inamura again. They're looking for that long shot. It's not quite on. Probably acutely aware of what happened last time they went there. Just slowly working it down the field. Let's see how patient the Japanese can be. Good building of the pressure from the Australians. Lots of passes, not really making any distance here. No one gets through. A little bit of ground. Big fake from Shimada for the deep shot.
Australians
Sato.
hunting these inside
really
blocks. Oh,
they're close. Fujioka now. Sending it back to Koike. He fakes the big hammer. Oh, and look, the Australians' ability to hold them up has paid off there with just one slight errant pass from the Japanese, meaning they lose the disc over the sideline.
Yeah.
Shimada just not able to pull that one in before it went out. Disc back with Tullett. Hits the under on Wentworth, straight to LADOMATOS, and now there's a chance. He really had a good think about that one to Andrews. Decides he's going to hit it anyway. Oh, and Andrews picks it up on the bounce. Well done. Oh, I thought for a second there that LADOMATOS had missed his opportunity.
Yeah, but I mean, you could tell just that extra half second was the just the assessment of the matchup there, and it's very, very tempting to throw to Rob Andrews going deep, and can't blame him. Well over 6 foot, the boy, and has pretty amazing hops as well. So I mean, you have to say Honor did a very good job there to keep him out and make him bobble it, Robobo. But unfortunately, it was Robobo who kept his head in the end and bobbled it for the score.
Yeah, you could see LADOMATOS having a good think about that.
Oof.
Oh, well picked up there.
Yeah.
Well picked up there by Andrews. But you can see LADOMATOS having a good think about it, and then the throw just sitting up there in the wind as well. Slight upwind, coming in with a nice bit of bladey angle on it. And Andrews has done very well to pick that up.
But how about that defense, Kylie? I mean, they certainly kept building pressure, closing those gaps, threatening them. And you could see after the Japanese did give up a few of those inside breaks. We saw Tullett with an amazing block on the game on Friday. We saw Wise with a wonderful run-through block in that similar zone setup. You could tell they're a bit warier of throwing those inside passes, and it made a big difference.
Absolutely.
All right, so now it's the Japanese who will have another opportunity on offense. Here we are, 3-all. It's a very exciting game, only 20 minutes in. They got 16 through the middle, but looked off, and it's over to the captain, Fujioka. 16 now, Tamura with the disc in the middle of the field. They're moving it very quickly, the Japanese.
Australians again playing out a different style of junk here.
And they're just happy to play around with it at the moment. It's Koike, Inamura.
Oh, Dawson hunting a block there.
A little bit of now transitioned, or maybe not. Oh yeah, still. Oh, and just maybe a slight misread there from Tamura. It's the Australians now who will have an opportunity to take the lead. Isherwood, they're just on the end zone line.
Oh.
Wow, just a drop there. Cold as you like, really, from Cat Phillips.
That's just particularly unfortunate because the Australians moved it really nicely there. Really caught the Japanese by surprise with that turnover and were able to transition quickly into offense.
So it's Honor who will have the disc. And again, a lot of pressure from the Australians up close.
Yeah, they're really backing themselves downfield with a couple of taller players to close out any deep shots, and they're looking to put a lot of pressure up around that disc.
And the Japanese very much looking to attack the disc a bit more with their throws than with their body movement. You might see another team move a little bit quicker through the middle. That's more like it from the Japanese.
Oh!
Beautiful pass through the middle there. Great vision. And it's number 25 who has it in the middle of the field, Kawase.
Ashcroft almost got a piece of that.
Oh, and another little inside space. The Japanese player cleverly creates a space. Here we are now. The Japanese past their brick mark, only a few meters out now from the end zone. As they move it back. Once again, a period of just cool, calm patience. Honor and Shimura working it through. This is Shimura's first game. Did not play the test on Friday.
Well, it feels like he's making a big difference already to their offense.
Now they're knocking on the door, the Japanese. We'll see. They had a bit of red line fever on Friday night. Oh, and a touch there from Cat Phillips, but it's not enough.
Oh.
Wow, and another touch from Ashcroft. 2 touches from the Australian defenders, but the Japanese with enough spin and power on the throw to get it through. And the Japanese take the lead, stick in the lead, 4-3.
Yeah, Australians had their opportunity there to get that break back, didn't they? A couple of chances. Very close a couple of times with the defense.
Wow.
They did let it sneak through the middle a couple of times. I think that probably the coaching staff might be a little bit unhappy with that. That was really, I guess, it looks like from that junk set that they're playing, what they're trying to avoid is having those passes come down through the middle.
At the same time, Kylie, you have to say that they got 2 touches probably in exactly the spaces that they're looking for. It's hard at this elite level. If you don't give a little bit of a gap, you're not going to see the throws come through those gaps. And although obviously those are the penetrating passes that got them in the end, the Australian team will be very happy to leave a bit of a gap and then lay out for the touch. As we see the touch, as we said,
the touch from Cat Phillips.
Yeah, and they'll be happy to leave those gaps if they think they can get a block. And at this stage, you have to say they're very close to getting that block.
Absolutely. Japan back on defense. Really good pull. Floating down. Evans with the disc to Barr. Japanese look like they're in match now. Back to Evans.
Another
Barr
5-2
again.
horror from the Australians.
Barr to Blakely. Something we saw a lot on Friday night. Great grab from Dennis. Dishes it back to Blakely to Barr. Blakely sees an opportunity. Takes it. Great grab from Dennis, who puts it out there. Oh, lovely. What a lovely throw to Andrews from Dennis.
Yeah.
That was beautiful touch. Just sat out there. Made him work hard for it.
But hey, I think Rob Andrews, you can put it out in front. He was one of the fastest at the Australian under-24 camp, which he attended last weekend, and so no surprises there to see his quick pace was more than enough to grab that disc.
Great point from Dennis there. Really strong cutting. Great great grab in the air, and then that lovely throw to Andrews.
Yeah.
Dennis is the sole Canberra representative on this team, so she plays for Factory. Big shout out to any of the Canberra crew watching this game on the stream.
Yeah,
I think they'll all be pretty proud of Adelaide for that point.
Big group of them came down to watch the test on Friday, and the support was definitely noted. And yeah, I mean, the Australians, though, not changing much. That was, of course, one of the first girl to boy assists we've seen for a score for the Australian team, but of course came off the back of a pretty typical boy to girl huck, which we saw many times on Friday night.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the bromance of epic proportions, the Blakely and Barr combo, really kicking that off for the Australian team.
Absolutely. All right, we have Japan back with the disc. We talked briefly about Shimura. He's been very involved in their offense there. Kunieda with the disc. Back in field to Koike. Shimura out now to Inamura. Oh, little hammer. Back over to Koike.
And they've switched to person defense
Back
now.
to person.
There are a few gender mismatches happening here.
Australians are comfortable with that. Vivien, big mark from Vivien Stettner.
Not quite in.
Just outside the end zone there for Kawase.
Look, there may be a brief call on the field. There's just a bit of hold up. Yes, Tullett once again poaching in the lane there and forcing that deep shot, which was it was contested, but Japanese now.
Oh, score there by Koike. Just came around the back.
And again, being marked by Viv Stetner, who, of course, very fast player, but again, the gender mismatch, just they're struggling a little bit in that end zone space, and I mean, just an extra meter of speed is just getting them, unfortunately, in those last passes. But Tullett there made the choice to get in the lane, force a deep pass, which I think on balance they may be happy with that decision.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they're going to change their strategy too drastically based on this, to be honest. I think it's something that they've really been working on. They're still forcing they're still putting a lot of pressure on the Japanese players here on the defense. So, having a high stall count, scoring on that high stall count there, the Australian coaching team will be happy with that. But as you say, it'll be interesting to see if they make any adjustments there on the matchups as they get close to that end zone.
Yeah, I totally agree. Looked like there wasn't a lot of engagement, I guess, with a switch opportunity, which I think is probably what the Australian team would be looking to do. Happy to take those matchups early, but looking for a switch, which didn't happen so much. So it'll be Evans now who collects the pull and sends it to Barr. Barr has Phillips coming under. The Japanese again playing a junky set. Very loose. No mark at the moment here on Evans. All Barr as they dish it forward and happy to take the extra meters. The Japanese now let them come to them, and the marks potentially starting on. They've told Evans to go through. They see Phillips again. Barr completely unmarked. So Not quite, it's a bit too early to be winding the clock down, but he'll wait for opportunities to come to him.
The Japanese players really just picking up the cutters coming in, but not really worrying too much about getting close to the disc there.
Yeah.
They're giving Barr so much space.
Yeah, interesting here. All the handlers getting a lot of space, and so 5 meters by 5 meters, they're just working it up. Evans completely unpressured in the middle. Evans calls the shot forward, but Barr holds his ground into the anchor position. It's just been Phillips, Barr, and Evans the whole way. Oh, and a massive run-through block. And the Japanese player, number 5, that's Kobayashi. Kobayashi now back with the disc. Looking for an option. Hits a dump, Koike.
Oh, and it's a timeout call by the Japanese team. Well, I think they really sense an opportunity here to consolidate now.
Now, Kylie, I have a very strong opinions about midpoint timeouts. As many people who maybe watched Australian Ultimate matches may know, it's a well-documented faux statistic that 80% of midpoint timeouts end in a turnover. Like, not saying that they won't score it eventually, but my opinion on this is it just gives the opportunity for the defense to regather, to settle, and it puts them in a more advantageous position. What do you think?
Look, I'm not sure that your statistic is backed up by any evidence-based research, Max, but I have heard you talk about it before. Look, I think for the Japanese team, I don't think it's a bad call from them at the moment. It feels like they've got the Australians a little bit rattled here. I was just about to say before the turn that we saw from the Australians there.
Yeah, great block by Kobayashi.
Yeah, just it really felt like they were sort of baiting the Australians to not be patient. You know, the Australians were making those little gains, and the Japanese players didn't mind about that so much. It sort of tempted them into a few of those longer looks. And you saw as they tried to go cross-field there, they just snapped up the defense. So let's see how your theory holds up, Max.
Yes, absolutely. It'll be
Japanese
honor.
Players are in a pretty good position here.
I think you're right. This will be the test. Of course, at the elite level, does the 80% start hold up? It'll be honor with the disc number 22 for the Japanese team. It's Kobayashi, the block getter, is now on the sideline. Oh, and hits a beautiful inside to number 15. That's Inoue, who hits the end zone.
Can Evan get there?
Number 11, Yamaguchi, with the goal. And boom, 80% blown out of the water. 20% of the time you score it, and the Japanese prove that they are an elite team. And that goal celebration again.
Well, Max, I'm sorry that hasn't helped your statistics on the midpoint timeout.
As I say, you prove you're an elite team by scoring those 1 in 4, 1 in 5s. You put yourself at a disadvantage and you still push through it. It's good to see from the Japanese.
It's been quite interesting watching the Japanese team today as well. Obviously, they've had some more rest, so we expected them to come out looking fresher than they did on Friday night. And I think they've certainly done that. We've talked a little bit about Shimura.
Yeah, he's clicked in nicely, hasn't he?
He really has. It felt like he's sort of brought a little bit more tempo control to their offense as well. And interestingly, one of the things from Friday night we saw was the Japanese team probably underutilizing their men a little bit. Their deep looks were coming from their female players. And it seems like that's really turned around in today's game. It seems like they're using the men more. Still using the women a lot, which is fantastic, but really seems like it's a bit more balanced than it was on Friday night, and it's obviously working for them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So 6-4 to the Japanese team here.
Phillips takes the pull, straight back centres to Barr. He moves it to Phillips straight away. To Blakely. He's looking for that deep shot. Back again to Barr, and the big long shot, that's not going to be enough. Bit short for Phillips there. Would have had to be absolutely spectacular full forward lunge to get to that one. Straight away the Japanese are off with a little inside throw to Tamura. Puts it out wide.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Blakely just shows his speed there. I mean, his acceleration is incredible, and that's a really great example of how valuable it can be for this team. Back to Phillips immediately. Hits it straight. Oh, no, we've had a pick called for the throw.
Safe to say that Phillips, the second Phillips, as we watch the block again.
Wow.
As clean as you like, just straight through the hands.
Pure speed there from Blakely. Phillips with the disc. Oh, she goes. Wow. She goes for the hammer to Blakely. He's caught it just outside the end zone. Back to Phillips. Barr. He's patient. Back to Phillips. Looks like she's got eyes for Blakely. Oh, takes a shot.
Nice.
Oh, expands the vision to see Ashcroft in the end zone there.
Yeah, great job by the Japanese of keeping the Australians out there for a few extra passes. But in the end, the help defense from the Japanese caused a hole to open up, and it was the experience of Phillips who was able to see Ashcroft in the end zone. Yeah.
Little hand signal there by Ashcroft. Here if you need me.
Yep. Nice finish. Beautiful finish. Wow. So the Australians, they coughed the disc up with this with the huck from Barr, but Blakely getting the disc back for his team with just an amazing run through D, completely elite speed.
I'll be really interested to see at halftime what the stats are looking like compared to Friday night, because I know that the Australians had a really high percentage of completed deep shots on Friday night.
Yeah.
And I think we might find there's a little bit of a different story in today's game.
Absolutely. The texture in the air, a little bit of extra breeze here at Punt Road Oval in beautiful Melbourne, home of the Richmond Tigers. And yeah, very bit of a different game that we're seeing as a result. The Japanese being able to handle the pressure a little bit better this time.
Yeah,
so
we see reception coming in from Koike. Straight out there to Inamura. Working it around again, as we've seen. Shimura again, heavily involved. Oh, that's a little bit of an overthrow. Unable to be picked up there. The Japanese play a great opportunity for a short turn here for Australia. Andrews doesn't want to mess around with it.
Boom.
And he finds LADOMATOS.
Wow, and it's amazing. That's as quick as you like. Australians even the score up. It's now 6-all.
Yeah, Australia's started on offense, so still down that break, but I think they'll be pretty happy that the Japanese have really gifted them a nice short turn there, and you know, Andrews, you could see the intent there.
Oh yeah,
as he moved quickly towards the disc. He didn't want to muck around with it. He just wanted to ensure that they could score quickly before the Japanese had a chance to set up any sort of defense.
Yes, and only had eyes for LADOMATOS, his teammate on Sydney University. Sydney University, of course, helping out with the volunteering at the Sydney Test match, and we're very thankful for that. We've got a bunch of really great university students here as well.
Yeah, Melbourne Uni.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. They've done a fantastic job here. Ground announcing, ticket selling. They've really made life a lot easier for this event to be the spectacle that it's turning out to be.
Yeah, and it was Koike who just couldn't quite reel the disc in there, unfortunately, giving the Australians the opportunity as they hit LADOMATOS with a beautiful pass. Oof, okay, wow, here we are at 6-all. 37 minutes into this game, this second test match, the decider in many ways between Australia and Japan. And it's Shimura now who has the disc, who hits the captain, Fujioka. Back to Shimura. The Australians once again playing this junkie set to start, but they hit a nice inside out. The Australians stopping the continuations well. Of course,
punching it through the middle.
As soon as I say that, they're through and they're off to the races. They hold it up here. Oh, and the central passes are just killing them on this point. It's now Shimura again with the disc. He's been in every second or third at this time. It's Koike. Back to Koike now and Shimura. They're on the commentary sideline. Oh no. Bounces off the fingers of Kunieda.
The wind just picked that one up at the last minute, didn't it?
Yeah, and had to lead with the offhand there, which of course is much harder grab with the way that the disc was spinning. It looked like an open pass, but yeah, just unfortunate. So the Australians now will have an opportunity. They come out in this diagonal stack. There's no dump. They trust those players upfield to get open. Let's see what they do with it. Tullett and Stettner both make a move. It's a big, wide one. Wow. Tullett grabs it, huge roar from the crowd. Instantly hits a high flick to Andrews.
Oh, who sees?
And it's low and it's flat. And Isherwood gets it. Oh, and a favorable gust of wind blows it up.
I'm not sure that Andrews was looking for Isherwood there. I think he may have been looking for Wise. So luckily Isherwood was heads up, went and attacked that disc, and then he could place the continuation onto Wise. But regardless, Australia have got themselves back on even terms.
Yeah, it's Isherwood. It was Isherwood. Isherwood, no.
Not sure. I think we still have sound here. We're having a couple of issues again with our mics, but
test 1 2, test 1 2.
Great vision from Isherwood there to continue the throw on. As we see it go up, there he picks it up and throws it immediately to Wise.
Yes, Isherwood. There we go. Yeah, Isherwood. He caught one of the most amazing scrappy grabs in the Sydney Test match as well. He is well and truly on scraps patrol. He got a beautiful layout grab past a fully extended Japanese player to keep a disc alive in the.
So timeout called by Team Japan.
Oh, and we have a timeout called, as CC lets us know. So it's 7-6. So and the fact that we haven't gone to halftime confirms, as we said at the start, game to 15 here. So the Japanese probably fair enough. You know, you fly halfway around the world and you're only playing 2 games. They have opted for the slightly extended, more traditional WFDF format, or WFDF, as our friends in North America call it. So here we are, timeout. Rule giving a few choice words to his charges, I guess.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if the Australians are able. It feels like they've just got a little bit of momentum in these last few points, whether they're able to carry that through to halftime. They definitely haven't been as crisp as they were on Friday night, and I think a lot of that comes down to the Japanese players really stepping up. We've seen a lot less errors from the Japanese team than we did see on Friday night, as we sort of expected that they would bring it back for this game. And I think in turn that's caused a little bit more pressure for the Australians, and they haven't been quite as cohesive. But it seems like now they've made a few adjustments, and they've managed to basically get back on serve.
Yes, absolutely. 41 minutes played now. And 7-6 to the Australians as the Japanese now looking at their 3rd point in a row coming out on offense. It's number 39, Inamura, down in the end zone. Grabs it. They're still playing around with it right on their end zone line. Very happy to do so. They get it across to number 25. It's cool.
Big intercept.
Huge.
From Phillips.
Phillips, the AFLW player. Her sister's on the team. They've got an open player, but not hit. Wise have got the disc. And they're looking for LADOMATOS. It just goes over the top. Oh, wow. Jeez.
No call there.
Yeah, very good avoidance of contact there from both players, but Phillips, of course, was in a struggle position. It's
going to be a little bit too far there. Great run from Tamura, but not quite able to get there. Wise picks it up immediately.
Oh, wow. And taps it to his own advantage. LADOMATOS with it. Goes across to Phillips, number 35, who now hits the end zone. Wow. And the Japanese team in silence because it was a pick. Yeah, it was a really nice throw to a very open Dawson, but partially that was because probably of the pick upfield. So Dawson will now retake her position in the stack. We'll see how these Japanese players pick up. So Phillips with it on the commentary side. Move it across to Tullett. Tullett with a chance here now. And that is caught.
Oh, you've got to say that Prentice is loving receiving these hammers today, isn't she? Second one that she scored on.
Yes, I know, a huge, and she's just finding that space in the deep. And wow, what a turnaround here in Punt Road Oval. It's the Australians who will take half 8-6.
Great effort by the Aussies. I'm a little disappointed that the pick denied us our first, I believe, female to female, female assist, female score goal.
Yes, cruel.
Especially as it looked so pretty. But look, the big hammer to Prentice in the end zone, also pretty spectacular from Tullett. So I think we can, take that as a pretty good substitute.
Yeah, let's be honest, we'll take it. As we watch it again on replay, it just sits perfectly. And Prentice able to take it from a stationary position, which always makes it easier. Prentice, yet another hometown hero here. One of the youngest, so probably the youngest female, I'd say, on the Australian team. Also eligible for the Australian under-24s team.
Correct.
So she'll, this will be great experience for her leading into another Worlds campaign, which will be coming up soon. So, and here we are at halftime now, Kylie. As we get a few pan shots of the crowd, they've really filed in here. It's a great oval. We've got really wonderful conditions. We're very thankful to our hosts here at Punt Road, and we'll get some of the highlights as we chat about what an amazing first half it was, Kylie.
It really, oh, look at that huge, we're just seeing a replay of that huge bid from Andrews. That is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and that
full stretch.
It feels like that is the stuff that you pick Andrews on a team for. He was really, as you say, stalking the backfield, waiting for that pass, and then it came, closed it shut like a bear trap. Absolutely. Beautiful finish.
But that last point before halftime, that intercept D from Phillips was just, that really made the point. Very similar to what we saw in Friday night's game with Lochlan WISE, right on the end zone line. Very similar style intercept. And she just anticipated so well. Seeing some more highlights here.
Yeah, one thing that we saw the Japanese team play that very, very loose zone that actually generated them a block in that half. It looked early on, that very first opportunity they had to play it. The Australian team, they withstood the pressure, or at least withstood the temptation. But in the end, it was just got too much for them in that second point, and a wonderful block there from the Japanese team, Kobayashi coming through with it. But of course, we also have Rob and Andy taking stats for us. They're rat stats, and we're going to get Andrew Wood now, one half of rat stats, on the mic to tell us a little bit about what he's seen in the second half. Andy, how are you going?
Very well. So this has been a cracker of a game. Japan, it looks like, have had a bit of better preparation this time around, I think. The same travel from Sydney looks like it's evened themselves out, and they had a really good start to the game. So compared to last game, they've actually managed to get 3 breaks on the Crocs offense so far, so that was really good. The same story as last game is sort of coming through, though, as well. The Crocs defense has really dialed in, and they've gotten breaks on 4 of Japan's offensive points, and that's really the story so far. The Crocs still look like the better team, but this is a very close game.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been a real game of momentum that we've seen coming through. It's interesting to see. That we also saw our first female pass to score for the Australians. That's only one in this first half. It was very different to the game on Friday, Andy. Yeah,
I guess that's sort of the way that the Crocs team is built. The best throwers on the Australian national team, I guess, sort of Seb and Mark Evans, you would say. And they've both had outstanding games. They both played really well in the first test as well. Seb Barr in particular had 20 passes, 4 assists and no turnovers, I believe. So really just showing his value to the offense. And I think that really just comes down to, if Seb's already thrown the goal, then no one else is throwing it. So be interesting to see how that plays out.
And second half, what key statistics are you going to be looking at, key factors?
I've got to do some updates to the spreadsheet. We had a couple of data entry issues, but I'd really just be looking at the number of passes thrown. The Crocs zone is really doing a good job of slowing the Japanese down, and they haven't really been able to get any deep shots off. They've thrown a couple. Lochlan WISE got a nice D on one, I believe. There was another overshoot, but the difference really has been that the Crocs have been able to connect on some of those deep shots and have gotten away with maybe a couple of 50-50 balls, but they've come down with them, and they'll be looking to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. All right, Andy, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll have a quick chat for some analysis after the game as well.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, so yes, it's been quite an amazing first half here, and we've got a whole second half to go. As we said, we're playing to 15 today, so World Games traditionally only to 13, but this one is a little bit longer, which is very exciting. Now, it would be great to have an opportunity to chat now to the president of we'll be getting an opportunity after we play these highlights in 2 or 3 minutes maybe to chat to the president of the AFDA, Jonathan Potts, also been former WFDF president and has been instrumental in getting these test matches together. As we run through the highlights, we'll get a chat to him directly after that. But Kylie, now might be a good chance. We should talk about the rivalry between these two teams because, I mean, it's been one of the great matchups in World Ultimate is Australia versus Japan. Such contrasting styles. And we talked a little bit about it on Friday, but this is just another chapter in just an epic battles at World Games and at World Championships.
Yeah, and I mean the Japanese team, as we mentioned on Friday, yet to beat Australia at World Games, but it's been very, very close every time they've played.
Yeah, one Universe point game, of course, two World Games ago, and it's never been more than 4 points difference between the two teams, which is what you would expect at an elite tournament like World Games.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked as well about the fact that all of the, in the main divisions at WGC in London, we had Japan and Australia playing each other in knockout games in all in the men's or the open, the women, and the mixed divisions.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely huge. And I mean, as we watch the replays from these teams, both teams are making it very, very hard. I mean, both, for example, the Japanese score came off 2 Australian hands within that point. Even on these deep shots, we've seen lots of pressure from the Japanese player. Really nice attempt at a D on Honor, which Andrews managed to just bobble and catch to score. So no, there's nothing been easy here as we watch this, once again, this beautiful Dennis throw to Andrews, who put the burners on to score it. Grab from Dennis, the sole Canberra player. She really held her own in that deep space there, which was very, very exciting.
Yeah, and we can see here, this is Japanese oh, it's a little bit of a discussion on that point there, but Japanese team has just looked a lot more relaxed today, to be honest. So nothing really changed for them in terms of their routine. We could see before the game that they were out here well in advance of an hour and a half before the game, starting their warm-up. Oh, there's that cross-field throw from Phillips that got picked off there by the Japanese player.
Yeah, Kobayashi with a great block. Oh, it's exciting to see, and because it's exactly what we saw from the Australian team, getting those little blocks on the inside outs on the Friday Test match, and now they're getting a bit of taste of their own medicine from the Japanese. It's exciting to see.
Definitely. Phillips won't have been happy with that one.
No, Phillips is she's had some of the more spectacular moments. Had an unfortunate drop in the end zone though, so her success has been the team's success a little bit during this game. It'll be interesting to see if that continues. She's playing on an AFL ground. She's very she's at home on the Ultimate field and on the AFL pitch, so maybe that's coming into play here today.
I mean, definitely running in her favour is that she loves the second half, both in the AFL and on the Frisbee field. So I think we'll see her just go from strength to strength.
Alrighty, so now we are gonna get an interview. We're gonna get an interview now with Jonathan Potts, former WFDF president, now current AFDA president, and Kylie O'Brien. With these 20-minute halves, of course, and as you watch the highlights, that some of the Japanese players now just coming out of the sheds, they're looking very relaxed. A lot of the coaching staff now coming out, they're still adding more and more adjustments. This Japanese team, they come from 7 different clubs, so they're all trying to connect, and there's a few more naturally built-in connections I think we've found on the Australian team, but the Japanese just look stronger and stronger as they go. It was the Australians who were able to lift in that second half. So as we now go to the centre of the field, we've got Kylie O'Brien and Jonathan Potts.
All right, so I'm here with Jonathan Potts, the president of the AFDA. In front of us we have the beautiful Golden Wattle Sakura Cup here. And Jonathan, it'd be great just to understand a little bit about how this concept came about.
Thanks, Kylie. Yeah, look, so I guess it's something that I felt has been missing a little bit from World Ultimate. Like every year or so, all the nations come together, play in a tournament, in a World Championship, but we don't have that format that other sports have where like there's a bilateral game between two nations, and which is really at the core of a lot of sports like cricket and rugby, and an opportunity for national teams and national associations to create spectator-focused events outside of World Championships. So it was something that I was really keen to try out in Australia, and luckily enough the Japanese team were keen to be a part of it as well, so we've flown them over for this test match, the very first test matches in the world.
And based on how it's gone so far, are you expecting that this is a concept that we want to continue with?
Definitely, yeah. Look, as with anything new, there's been teething problems, I suppose, or there's a lot to learn, I guess, around how to run the format and how to run these sort of events. But we've learned a lot, and I think that it's a unqualified success for these matches, definitely.
Is the trophy going to need its own seat on the plane?
Well, I'm hopeful that the trophy's staying in Australia, though I'm sure the Japanese will be quite happy to take it away. Australia obviously has won up on the scoreboard, having won on Friday, and they're looking pretty strong, although Japan has definitely put a scare in so far in today's game. And it's going to stay in Australia.
All right, and anything else that you want to talk about in terms of things that Ultimate Australia are doing, new things that we're trying?
Oh, look, I think this has been a big focus for us in the last few months, along with running our national events. It's taken a lot of the energy of the organisation. The next really big thing for me and for Ultimate Australia is looking at getting into schools a lot harder, so being a lot more professional in our approach to schools, build a lot more capabilities, really help the grassroots organisations and their relationship with schools. So the next thing we really want to do is just see the sport booming in schools, because I think anyone who plays the sport knows that it's an amazing sport for kids to play, and to personal development and learning about leadership skills through conflict resolution and things like that. We think the potential is almost limitless for Frisbee in schools.
I think these test matches will provide an excellent opportunity for us to showcase some of the game's finest talent and playing at the highest level. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Kylie.
We'll cut back to Mr. Howden and look forward to seeing the second half.
Thank you, Kylie. That was that's exciting to see, and thank you so much for everybody who's joined us on the stream, who's promoted it in Australia and internationally. We're very, very pleased to have you here live from Punt Road Oval. There's been a lot of people involved in this process, and the volunteers who have been working at the ground and in the background to bring you this stream. Everyone's been working hard, but it wouldn't really matter if nobody watched. So thank you for tuning in today. We really appreciate it, and we're hoping to bring you an electrifying second half out of Punt Road Oval. Now, we're getting now ready. There's only a few minutes left before we're coming back for a second half of Ultimate, and I've had a little bit more of a chat to some of the about some of the stats at halftime. One really interesting one: the Japanese are completing at about 96%, as contrasted to the Australians, who are only getting about 90% completion rate. Now, neither of those are particularly, both of those are good completion rates, obviously, but it's the Japanese who have been throwing more passes but haven't really been able to convert that into success in the end zone. Whereas the Australians, a little bit more happy to turn it over and trust their defense to get it back, take some high-risk shots, and at the moment for the Australians, it's been paying off, but that may change in the second half, Kylie.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see that the Australians have had more turnovers in this first half than they had for the entire game on Friday. So I think that that tells a little bit of a story that they were absolutely on point on Friday night, and as we said, the fact that the Japanese team has brought a little bit more pressure, a little bit more energy to this game, has really managed to not throw the Australians off, but just take a little bit of that clinical approach out of their game, particularly on offense.
Yeah, and you have to say the Australians looked like they were sort of having it all their own way on offense on Friday night. The Japanese really struggling, especially those primary connections. They were really struggling to hamper those, and some of these junk sets that they've come down with, and even some of them person-based defense, that's really actually frustrated the Australians on the primary looks. What we haven't seen that we saw a lot of on Friday night was what we like to call easy money. Just quick primary plays that come off and put the other team back straight out on the field on offense. We haven't seen those quick ones today, and it's made for not only a more exciting game, but also I think a much closer one, and one that the Australians have really had to fight for rather than have it their own way.
Yeah, absolutely true. And I think, as you said, the points have been longer, haven't they? I mean, I think on Friday night, the Australians forced the Japanese players to be out for their offensive points for longer, and then obviously got a lot of the disc as well. But today it's really the other way around. The Australians, as you said, they're not scoring those 3-4 pass goals. They're having to work a lot harder as well. And you know, the Japanese are really trying to test their patience, and obviously the Australians are good enough to absorb that. But will be interesting to see if they come out in the second half with that same intent that they finished the first half.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, you know, tactical adjustment-wise, Australia's still been throwing many different looks. You know, it's certainly a massive factor in a game to 13, still a factor in a game to 15, just trying to unsettle the Japanese. You know, every team looks good when they just have that rhythm, but the Japanese, you have to say, those throws through the middle, once they were looking confident with those, especially in movement, when they had their players in movement, when they were catching the disc and then punching through the holes, that was just devastating. We saw one score by the Japanese that looked almost unimpeded through the middle, and just the red line's still an issue for the Japanese. Just those last passes into the end zone haven't always been the crisp ones that they've been looking for. But when the Japanese players have been in movement through the middle, it looked a lot more devastating.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see if the Australians go back to really trying to take advantage of those height mismatches as well. Both for the men and the women, there's some good height mismatches for the Australians, which they really seemed to take advantage of on Friday night. And, you know, we talked before about, obviously this is a test match, and there's all the prestige that comes with playing for your country. But, you know, as Dan Rule has spoken about previously, this is still a testing phase for his team, and he really wants to keep being able to try out all those different looks that you've referred to, so that he can really start to refine the tactics for World Games.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning here the Japanese team had some late adjustments that they had to make to their roster. Some of the players were not allowed to travel in what has become a little bit of a, you know, it's certainly a controversial point. We have no extra information that that you out there in Streamland have, so we don't want to speculate too much about it, but certainly a last-minute roster change in the last week or two means that the Japanese team is scrambling to develop new connections in that space. And I think one thing that you mentioned earlier in the first half, Kylie, it looks a lot more balanced gender-wise for the Japanese team. The women on Friday, killing it, absolutely getting out there, really nailing it. The boys, not so much, looked a little bit tentative occasionally, and the connections weren't as strong across the gender lines, whereas the Australians looked a little bit more comfortable, even though we talked about that one-sided you know, gender throwing into the goals for the Australian team. They looked a lot more balanced in the midfield. So yeah, it's interesting to see the Japanese now coming out, and they look much stronger across the board.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about on Friday, all of the deep shots that the Japanese put up came from their women, whereas they put up 5 deep shots this half, and 4 of those have come from the men. So very different story as we look at it. Both teams having less success with those deep shots than they did on Friday. The Australians, I think, were 6 for 6 on Friday, if I remember correctly, and they're looking at more like 4 for 6 at the moment.
Absolutely.
And the Japanese looking at being 2 for 5. But it's just got a different feel to it this game. The wind is definitely a factor. It's certainly not inhibiting either teams, but it's just making those throws probably not sit up quite as smoothly as they did on Friday night, even though we had the rain to contend with.
Absolutely. Yes, the Australians coming out with a huge cheer out of halftime. Ragaki, no doubt, leading that. Anna is their mental strength coach. She's really providing another layer of an elite experience for these players. you know, it's World Games is a high pressure situation. These test matches are a high pressure situation. Here in front of your family, your friends, in front of thousands of people watching on the stream. But Ragaki gives them this bubble so that they can draw on this elite experience that they can have. And yeah, it's exciting to see the Australians take that on.
Absolutely. So it looks like we're just about ready to start the second half. Familiar side of Lochlan WISE with a disc in hand, ready to pull.
Cool. So it will be the Japanese team starting on offense, and we're starting out on 4 women in this half. So Japanese running from the right of your screen towards the left as WISE with another pull. And it looks like it's landing in. The Japanese field it on their own end zone line across to 77. That's Shimura.
Oh
and
no.
Fujioka is down. Looks like a little bit of contact with Spragg. She's just settling herself. Spragg, of course, has that 5'11" frame, played on the All-Stars tour. And but it looks like everybody's okay, so the disc at the moment's still with Shimura on the commentary side, a few meters away from the center of the field. So once again, Australians coming down in a bit of a looser set. Pressure now on the players. WISE with his back to it. Oh, and a nice shot through the middle there. And it's Fujioka on the sideline. Fujioka hits it through the middle to number 15, Inoue. Oh, and once again through the middle to Tamura. Crosses the field, he's got Fujioka on the sideline, who he hits. Another pass through the middle open. Inoue without anyone, and now the Australians. Moving it confidently, the Japanese, not too much trouble here. Shimura again with the disc. They're getting closer, they're just on their reverse brick mark at the moment. It's Fujioka, the captain, with the disc on the sideline. Shimura once again sidles it over to the other sideline. Looking for the hammer, but it's not going to come. A lot of extra pressure now.
Oh, big pressure from the Australians.
Oh, and Kimmy just can't quite get the block there. Spragg goes across to Fujioka. Fujioka hits a big upfielder. Number 9, first time he's been involved, Komori. A lot of discipline here, the Japanese, and that is the goal for the Japanese team. It's Komori. Komori, yes, Komori in the end zone. Wow, and the Japanese there take first blood in the second half, 8-7.
Look, I think that was a bit of a mixed bag for the Australian defence there. They definitely got hurt early with a couple of those short, sharp, puncturing throws through the middle that we're getting really accustomed to seeing. But I think they'll be pretty happy that they were really able to slow up the Japanese team a lot and really take them out of that flow. There's that point there where we had Spragg, who was on the dump. The count got up pretty high, and there wasn't too many options there. That's the kind of pressure that the Australians will be looking to build. You're not going to get every defensive block, but just building that pressure should really help them out towards the back end of this game.
I certainly agree, and one of the things that we've seen that's been quite strong, I think, from the Australian team, there's only a few times that we've really seen Japan get off to the races, and once they've gotten through, really get 5 or 6 strong continuation passes. The Australians look good. Not when they don't mind letting 1 through. It's when you let 2, 3, 4 through that you really start getting into trouble. So, as you say, they won't be too upset.
So now we have Australia receiving the pull. Michelle Phillips sets herself under the disc, straight to Barr. Just looking early for Blakely. Just see that connection so often. Blakely is not afraid to put it up. A lot of people coming towards the disc. And that is a huge grab from Dawson. Oh, I should be happy with that. I thought for a minute it was going to sit up for a bit too long. There was players hustling in there. Dawson confident under that grab. Yeah, can almost hear the cheers from Wollongong and Christchurch from here at Punt Road Oval. But a nice, once again, that bromance between Barr and Blakely kicks off a beautiful passage of play. And the huck to Dawson ended up being on a dime. And we see it go again, and she is off. Great pace. Fastest female on the Australian team.
And just excellent body position there at the end.
Really strong.
Managed to get in front of her defender, Inoue. And attacked it nicely. Number 11, Yamaguchi, frustrated that he didn't get more involved, but Dawson
coming in fast.
Dawson did a very good job, and there was very little that the Japanese could do in the end. Wow, and I mean, you know, we talked a little bit about easy money at halftime, Kylie, but they made that one look fairly easy. That's a primary pool play that they will be looking for, as bread and butter, and
yeah, that was a lot more reminiscent of what we saw on Friday night, wasn't it?
Very much so. So it's the Japanese now. Australians are in the lead, 9-7. We're playing a game to 15. And game clock now at 48 minutes as the Japanese filled the pool in their own end zone. Huge chase down from Andrews, who will now go on the mark. We're going to see that beautiful matchup on the mark. It goes across to 5. It's Kobayashi on the sideline, who got that great block in the first half. Hits it to the captain, Fujioka. Oh, and the massive arms of Andrews. But Fujioka eats up the pressure again. It's number 77, Shimura, who looks off Fujioka up the line to hit the dump. Andrews on the mark. Oh, and a massive inside out to Fujioka. Fujioka fakes the inside again. Fakes a hammer. Oh, and she's happy to go around Andrews. Once again, we'll see if they hit that inside. And there's just a bit of there's a call, and it's a foul signaled by the player with disc.
Just feel like something's about to happen with Andrews on that mark, don't you?
Yeah, he's been very close a few times. He's getting an improving read. It's getting across to Fujioka. Australians looking for the inside blocks. Got 39 on the sideline. Keep moving it. Oh, and a nice spot through the middle. It's Kobayashi knocking on the door now. Number 39, Inamura. And Andrews sets up on the mark. They've got Shimura. Oh, and a bit of pressure there from Prentice. Nice around.
Making the Japanese work for it.
So I'm going to go across to Kobayashi. Hits Koike. Oh, and a nice grab from Koike. Shimura hits it across the field. They've now got Fujioka. She's on the end zone line. This is reminiscent of Friday night, but she hits a quick, easy pass to Kobayashi. There's a bit of a chat there. Disc space called potentially, but oh, wow. Creates a space with an immaculate fake from Fujioka. And it's a nice little goal there to Inamura. Showing patience on the end zone line. You felt the pressure building from the Australians, but the Japanese just soaked it up. Just experience coming through there. Great score from Fujioka.
It's probably the big difference that we're seeing from Friday night. The Japanese were able to move it down the field. The Australians staying in their junk set all the way down. Fujioka back to her brilliant best.
Yeah.
Really just taking every third pass there. Gliding it through.
I truly can't get enough of the Fujioka-Andrews matchup on the mark. There must be probably a wingspan difference of, you know, up to 30 centimeters each side, and it's still the wonderful fakes and throws of Fujioka, still getting that disc off. It's just impressive, impressive to see. And it's she certainly looks the least flustered when the big tall man Andrews comes on the mark.
It's been one of the matchups of the series for me, Max.
I think so too. Absolutely, it's just been exciting to see.
All right, Australia now ready to receive the pull. Phillips, Cat this time, taking the pull to Barr. Comes straight back to a Japanese sagging again off those matchups. They're content to give Barr lots of space, and for now, it's not hurting them, but it did get a little bit dangerous there on Friday, and just like that, forced the throws a little bit high, Digna not able to pick it up. Now we have Japan with the disc in hand.
Still
Honna,
getting high.
Pops a little pass up. Komori with the disc. Big mark from Blakely. Oh! Massive D again by Dennis. Isn't she having a fantastic game? Lots of pressure there. Barr centers it back to Phillips. Oh, they're starting to move the disc a little bit more quickly now. Barr back to Phillips again. Returns it quickly. Slowing the Australians down a little bit here, just with this. Look, can Phillips...
Oh, and unfortunately...
Right in front of the commentator's box here. Unfortunately, her foot was on the line as she caught that disc.
Yeah, a bit of chalk brought up there.
Honna with the disc. Oh, big attempted D by Dignam. Just missed that one. But picked up by Tamura. Pops it back to Honna. Out wide to Inoue. Phillips, oh great. Really great stopping in the continuation there by Phillips. That's a smart mark. Back to Honna. Again to Inoue. It's working in amongst the two of them at the moment. Now they're able to puncture through Tamura. Australians starting to build up the pressure. Big strong mark by Phillips.
Wow.
Hand block by Phillips. And Seb is just going to try and hit her. Oh, wow. You could see Phillips really putting in the strides there. Thought she was going to pull it in. It's just gone beyond her.
This could be a game-defining point, Kylo. We've seen multiple turnovers now from both teams. There's a lot of pressure from the Australians. They want it back. They're hungry for it. It's only 9-8. If the Japanese team score this, they'll even the game up. Geez, the Australians, it's hard work for the Japanese at the moment.
It really is. You can definitely feel the intensity out there, particularly in this point. So unlucky for Phillips there. That was an excellent effort. And now the Australians need to switch back into a defensive mindset very quickly. Oh.
Ashcroft, huge block.
Unexpected from the Japanese there. Barr with the disc. Moves it across. Patience there from Phillips. Thought she had an opportunity with Blakely. Disappeared. Oh, and she's gone the hammer. And again, Kat Phillips not able to reel that one in before the sideline.
And you have to say, Mish Phillips there just looked off a few open side flick options and went for the hammer. And yeah, her sister could not reel the disc in. But this is a tough position for the Japanese to be starting in.
Yeah, back in the familiar position of that defensive set from the Australians. Honna. Oh, there's just so many hammers happening here. Dennis comes in close for a bid. Back with Honna. Swings it out here to Tamura. Oh, well brought in there by Ogawa. Back to Tamura, back again to Honna. Tamura. They're looking for those little short passes again.
Found a gap.
Australians managed to hold them up. Big hammer. Oh,
wow.
Pinpoint.
Jeez,
wow.
You saw that one go up and you saw Dennis and Blakely both get hungry for it, but it was a perfect hammer.
Absolutely.
Wow. From, I think it was Shimura there with the hammer, I believe. But wow. Or rather, no, Kunieda. What a finish from the Japanese after an unbelievable point. And bam, tied up 9-all here at Punt Road Oval in Melbourne.
Well, look, both teams had their opportunities on that point, didn't they? Plenty of them as well.
Yeah, they're the points you look back on and you just rue some of the throws or the mistakes. Oh, and as we see that hand block again.
That was big, and this for me, I thought that when this throw went up, I thought it was game over. Australia scoring right here.
Oh, and
Phillips, you can't fault the effort, can you?
No, absolutely not. Maybe just cuticles on the edge of that disc, but it was within centimeters of her hand. And here we see again, though, Phillips had a few opportunities with some open players on the open side. Looked for her sister, and just the hammer going away wasn't easy. So it'll be the Australians now, looking for a hold on offense at 9-all, 57 minutes played. Centers it to Wise. Wise the anchor of this one. Across to Stetner. on LADOMATOS, right on the commentary side. Sees an upfield pass. Oh, and it's Isherwood with a big frame, keeping the Japanese defender out of the way.
Wise streaming deep.
Looks for a dish. Back to Isherwood. It's a nice under to Prentice. They're just meters away now from the end zone line. Prentice has LADOMATOS. She sees Wentworth, the co-captain. Oh, and Isherwood moves quickly up the line. Right on the doorstep now. Prentice with the goal.
Australians giving the Japanese a little taste of their own medicine there. Lots of short, sharp passes, resisting the urge to hit that deep shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the Japanese putting good pressure on. Isherwood used his frame well on that big undercut to keep his defender out of the space. And it was the Australians who were able to get open.
Wise was screaming deep halfway through that point, and I thought for a moment that Isherwood might have hit him, but he's been patient.
But they really, it's a bit of a contrast there. I mean, they really played through all of their players there, the Australian team.
Absolutely.
Just a lot of free-flowing, high-quality ultimate that got them the block, and that will be a nice stabilizing force for the Australians.
Absolutely. After that long point before, they'll be pretty happy to take that one and bank the score at 10-9. And Prentice, goal-scoring machine today. I think that's her third, at least her third. She's taken the 2 hammers and along with that one.
Yeah, and certainly performing in front of a hometown crowd. And that's what you'd expect from a player such as Prentice. Very exciting.
All right, can Japan return the favour with a nice clean offense? Shimura with the disc, just being patient. Fujioka straight back to Shimura. Australians some help there again. There's that familiar through the middle pass. Back to Shimura.
Oh, Fujioka.
Oh, through the middle there to Tamura. She holds it up. The Australians are able to hold them up again. Pressure high now. Oh, gets it out to Fujioka. Always there when she needs them, Japan.
They've gone to person defense now, the Australians.
They have. A couple of gender mismatches again. Shimura with the disc. Oh, big outstretched foot of Spragg. Oh!
Wow.
Massive D from LADOMATOS.
And as quickly as you like.
Oh, it's just like that. Oh, we'll have to see that on the replay again. That's a great team D, though. That is a huge mark from Spragg. Massive.
Yes.
Using her foot, using her width there to really make it hard for Shimura. And LADOMATOS, horizontal out of nowhere.
Oh, he will be happy with that. That is a play of the day type territory, you have to say. Kylie, just a beautiful team defense.
Here it is.
Spragg putting the pressure on. LADOMATOS, a full hand to the disc.
That is impressive.
Phillips straight away, as we see again. Yes, Spragg making that pass just that little bit harder.
Anticipating the inside pass was LADOMATOS.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Sydney Uni teammates there working together to generate a block. And then right back at you, Melbourne teammates. It's Kat Phillips to Lockie Wise.
Beautiful.
Wow, and so a break there from the Australians.
Oh, they'll be really happy with that.
And that gives them a 2-point buffer now in front of the Japanese.
So we have Rob Andrews with the disc. Launches up. Nice pull. And Shimura picks up the disc again. Straight into the middle, back to Shimura. Australians causing lots of pressure again up around that disc. And there's a big huck. The Japanese.
Wow.
Oh, just over the top there.
Komori, yeah.
That was unfortunate. Australians providing lots of pressure there. Evans with the disc. Oh, unlucky. Oh, hold on, Evans is calling a foul. This is a great bid by Dignan there. Looks like the throw is impeded by number 77, Shimura.
Yeah,
And it's back with Evans.
Dignam managed to get a hand to it.
Stettner to Andrews. All the way across the field to Tullett, back to Stettner. Andrews working hard in this point, and there he goes. That is an off-balance hug. Oh, Prentice! That is massive! Tullett picks it up. Evans, straight to Tullett again. Moving it patiently now, the Australians. Evans back to Andrews, out to Stettner.
Yes.
I think we have a call here.
Evans suspiciously unmarked going towards that end zone, and seems that we have a...
Wow, how about that take from Prentice?
Oh my
I'm
Lord.
looking forward to seeing that back on the replay.
Yes, wow, really saving Rob Andrews from a very off-balance put. Oh, it's a huge grab.
That is massive.
That is a posterization if I have ever seen one. Put that on your bedroom walls, folks.
Andrews with the disc. Oh, cold draw from Evans.
Jeez.
So he was thinking about that next pass before he'd caught the disc, and then we see Fujioka quickly picking up the disc. Here to Honna. Straight out to Kawase. Kawase looks for the long shot back to Honna.
Oh! What a massive grab.
He earned that point. Gee, worked hard, didn't he?
Yeah,
both
great
on
grab.
Defense and offense.
Oh my God, and the Australians give Japan a gift.
You have to say opportunity missed there for the Australians.
There was a gift exchange at the start, and there's been another gift exchange at 11:10 there. That is a beautiful layout.
Really, really well timed there by Honna.
Yes, and I mean, Tullett in a very good position, but a perfectly weighted pass from the Japanese player to the advantage of his receiver, who toes it. And they will be hyped about that. Both teams, another just unbelievable exciting point. Multiple turns, huge athleticism. This is exactly what we've come for, Kylie.
We see again.
This is the earlier huck.
Yeah, just a little overshot there with two Australians coming in hard.
Yeah, the bid from Dignam couldn't quite bring it in, unfortunately.
Oh, and look at that! Look at that position from Andrews.
Yeah, he's ended up on the ground.
Watch that back, but did Prentice save him there? That is.
Wow.
That's a phenomenal grab. Lots of pressure there, and she just really set herself for that. Got a lot of air.
Absolutely. So it'll be the Australians now coming out on offense. The Japanese pull. It's a very good one. It'll sit deep into the middle of the end zone. It's an A+ pull, as we like to say. So it's now Barr, who hits his bro in the middle of the field.
Oh,
and
let's see. We've got...
Wow. Oh no, and Dawson. It bonks off the fingers. Potentially a touch by the Japanese player. You said that was easy money, but now the Japanese have an opportunity.
Australians have switched quickly back into their junk again.
Fake of the hammer.
Oh.
There's some call on the sideline of it being out.
I think that potentially the player was standing on the line.
Jeez, he's brought up some chalk and he doesn't...
Hashiguchi wasn't really paying close attention to how close he was to the line there and has just stepped on the chalk.
So here's Barr. He's still got... Oh, wow. A beautiful D there from Yamaguchi. Somehow managed to get his hands in there. Oh, and a hammer.
It's a lovely weighted hammer.
Yeah, really relieves the pressure for the Japanese team. The Australians will want them to get onto this commentary sideline. You can see them letting those passes off and closing the gaps. Very, very good. Another faked hammer there. Bit of pressure now on the Japanese team, but they're
Australians
wearing
have them
it well.
pinned in that corner at the moment.
It's Koike. Will we see another hammer here? It's going to be a late count. Something's got to happen. And hits Koike back in the middle. He's running the show at the moment. He's got a bailout option, which he'll hit now. Oh, and a massive D from Barr. He wasn't going to let that happen again. Hits Blakely, and now Blakely streams to the end zone. Oh, and very past the outstretched hands. to Dawson, who makes sure of it that time.
No mistake that time. Look, I think the Australians just looking a little unsettled on offense and taking options that we just haven't seen from them. I mean, I think that first deep shot from Blakely was beautiful and just uncharacteristic there from Dawson.
Yeah.
But then the quick movement on the sideline.
Timeout called by Team Australia.
We have a timeout from Team Australia. But yeah, the quick options there from Barr on the sideline after the Japanese team gave them the disc back was just looked a little rushed. But then the pressure from the Australians on defense, they really kept them pinned in that corner where they wanted them, and you could see the Japanese team knew they wanted to get out of that corner. They were pointing to where they wanted to see players, and they just couldn't get it over there.
It's very interesting to see. You know, we talk a lot, and of course, unfortunate, I suppose, in the end, that the Japanese player, when they had the disc, just brought up a little bit of chalk with that back foot. But we watched that layout from Barr. As a player who plays behind the disc very often, he knows exactly what those handlers are looking for and was already laying out well before the disc came out of the hands. And hits Dawson.
That's a massive
Yamaguchi with another massive layout. He, of course, got that really great block earlier off the bobble. And Yamaguchi, full out stretch, but can't get enough power there to get the block. Oh my.
Dawson will be happy she got another chance there to convert that one.
Absolutely, absolutely. But this is all good experience, as we say, leading up to World Games. You know, World Games, there's no second chances. You play every team once except the team you play in the finals. So, you know, this is a golden opportunity for both teams to play each other. Wow, so 69 minutes through this match, Kylie. Australia leads 12-10, and we're playing to 15. We've got an 80-minute time cap, so still plenty more to go here. Japan with an opportunity to draw blood in this test match series.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if head coach Dan Rule might have just been, you know, encouraging the Australian team to go back to playing at the level that they were earlier, really making sure of those options, giving themselves a little bit more time on the disc. Australians out again in their jump set. We see the hammers coming straight out again to Kawase. Straight back through the middle there to Tamura. Back to Shimura. Honna with the disc again, really just punching through the middle, Australia. I mean, the Japanese team. And Australia able to hold them up again now.
Gone to person defense.
Huge amount of pressure here. That's a great pick up there by Inamura. Clucketed overshot her for a second. The Japanese team going backwards at the moment. They're happy to do that. Great break throw there by Fujioka. Straight up the middle. Really nice throw there. Hitting Kawase. Oh! That is LADOMATOS. He timed that to perfection just as the disc was being let go.
Layout bid from Honor. Pick calls.
I think just checking. Tullett's just checking that his opponent's okay there.
Jeez,
huge amount of pressure there from Honor on that catch from Tullett. Tullett hits Prentice. Hits Brereton. Looking back. Oh no, it is Prentice.
It's Prentice, yep.
My apologies.
And Prentice is going.
Now we're at Brereton, but we have a pick.
Wow. So, I mean, that huge block from LADOMATOS, or the pressure from the Australian team. They now get an opportunity to go 3 up here.
Tullett with the disc in hand. High release. Wise is happy to have a shot there.
Wow. Number 77, Shimura.
Huge leap there from Tullett.
Getting up between 2 players taller than him. And read it perfectly.
I'm not sure you'd say Tullett's taller than him, but certainly Tullett has a massive vertical leap. He went high, went early. We're back now. Shimura, they're controlling this offense. Comes out on the sideline here. Kobayashi. Back inside again. Back with Shimura. Moving, using the width of the field here, Japan, but still looking for those little inside throws. Physical mark there from Stetner, and she's uncontested foul there from Stetner. Inamura back to Shimura.
Call signaled. Physical marks. We had seeing this gender mismatch once again, but they're happy to sit with it for the moment.
Uncontested here, coming in, Prentice on the mark, Shimura. Straight back to Shimura, looking for that go down the line. Back out again now, Inamura. Fujioka getting involved. Oh, Tullet goes up in anticipation. Fujioka back with the dish, Shimura.
Oh, a bit of a miscommunication on the switch by the Australians.
Back with Fujioka, and she puts up a lovely throw.
Wow.
And just hits Inamura in the end zone. Wow, Inamura was busy in that point.
Oh, yeah. All the Japanese players on that point working hard. It was early on, it was Tamura who was standing in exactly those right places to break through. But then it was Shimura and Inamura working very, very hard, as you say, behind the disc. And you saw there was an opportunity. Brereton attempted to engage the switch with Tullet after that huge layout, and it just didn't quite come off. And caused a little bit of confusion upfield, which maybe gave the Japanese just a small window that they exploited.
Yeah, absolutely. Still nice and tight in this game. What a contrast to what we saw in Sydney.
Yeah, this is the game we've come to expect from both of these teams. You know, the most elite players in both of their countries coming here to beautiful Punt Road Oval. As we see this D again, Tullet gets up. Oh, and just you see the shadow of his fingers under the disc. They're so close. But it was Shimura who read it just perfectly.
Absolute commitment from both players there.
Yeah.
You see the type of height they're getting as they're launching themselves for that disc.
And amazingly clean to see three players coming from totally opposite directions. It's been a pleasure, really, spirit-wise, to see how clean these games have been. So it's going to be Kat Phillips who now catches the pull, centers it to Barr, and it's Isherwood this time, who cuts out of the 5-2 Horo and hucks it deep to Dawson. It's 2-on-1 Japanese players, but Dawson has the read on it. Wow! Just the outstretched fingers of the Japanese player.
Looks like we have a call, though, right back on the mark.
So we're sending the disc back. Foul on the throw.
Look, I think obviously Dawson is a speedster and the Australians are going to look for her deep. But the Japanese have recognised that, and they've got players peeling off the back there to help cover that shot. I think the coaching staff will be hoping Australia recognise that and take advantage of the mismatches that they've got. Blakely with the disc. We have another call.
So Blakely with the disc. He's got Seb Barr in the middle of the field looking up. Everyone else upfield. They've collapsed into what is basically a vert set now. Looking for Barr. Bit of pressure here. Ashcroft relieves it. Hits the around to Phillips. Phillips now has a look upfield. Hits a backhand to Barr. What will Barr do with the disc? Doesn't see Ashcroft going upfield, and a call. There's a pick signaled by the game advisor. So disc coming in on 2. Giving the peace symbol. Ashcroft is going to willy speed to that end zone again. No, holds it in the stack. This time it's Phillips. Across. Strong catch there from Blakely. Oh, and what a grab from Dignam. Almost on the turf. Wow, and a huge catch. Question, and they signal the goal. Oh my God, Dignam to keep that disc alive. And then the throw perfectly weighted to Barr. She's having a great game today as well.
That was really, I'm hoping we get to see that on the replay, because That was outstretched.
Oh my God. I mean, just the flexibility to get it almost below the socks. And then
throwing under the Japanese defender's arm.
Throws through the pressure. And that is exciting. You can tell she's in the zone. Throws through. Oh, outstretched hand. Looked like the Japanese player may have even been touching it in the hands of Barr.
Oh, he's disappointed with that, isn't he, Koike? As he deserves to be. That was an impressive effort.
Put in full effort, and nobody ever likes getting beaten to that front corner of the end zone, Kylie.
No.
Oh, so it's Wise with the disc. He looks very relaxed. He's been in these situations before, with a lot of experience. He's been playing World since juniors in 2008 in Vancouver, so he knows what this kind of pressure is like.
Slightly shorter pull from Wise. The Japanese are on the move straight away again through Shimura. Australians again in their help D. Back to Shimura. Just working in around here between Koike and Shimura. Now out to Fujioka. She loves that hammer, doesn't she? Just hits it out there to Kawase, and then we're back again into the handler movement. Fujioka out to Shimura, back in again to Koike. Good patience from the Japanese, just slowly advancing it up the field. The Australians are managing to hold them, none of those penetrating throws that we've seen before, but the Japanese just making ground slowly here. The Australians will be happy with this. We just want to see how patient the Japanese can be. Back to Shimura. Comes out wide now. To Kobayashi. Back to Shimura. Here again for Inamura. Busy again this point, Shimura. Back to Inamura. Out wide. Lots of nice, short, sharp passes from the Japanese, really making the Australians work on their defense. And just like that, they're a few meters outside the end zone. Lots of patience, fakes, pivots. This is the Japanese bread and butter here. Back into Shimura. He makes the big jump a little early for the end zone. Back to Fujioka. Wow. Too easy, you'd have to say that one, Max.
Absolutely. Honestly, that is why you invite the Japanese to come and play you here in Australia. Just such typical Japanese style and so perfectly executed. The fakes, as you said, are just so good. It's unbelievable to see where they can move defenders just with the swing of a disc. And in the end, they were just happy to find the gaps. You saw, I think, a crucial moment there came right near the end where Fujioka saw the oncoming pressure from Tom Tullett, and instead of holding onto the disc and looking for the reset as they'd been quite comfortable doing, moved it quickly to the space that he vacated. And I think that then opened up the goal quite nicely. The one thing that I also noticed them doing differently there, Kylie, is some of the pressure that was coming before in those earlier points was when they sent some of their handlers upfield, and they only had one person back in the dump, made it much easier for the Australians to build pressure. With three back, the Australians really struggled to build pressure, obviously slowed them down, but struggled to build pressure a bit more.
I think that's absolutely fair to say. They really used the width there. They had their poppers coming in to provide them with those alternative options when they need them, kept the Australian defensive players busy.
And so that is another good pull right on the commentary side as it centers to Seb Barr. We've seen this over and over again. But this time this Japanese again sagging off, forcing something a little bit different. Dignam, every second pass. Wow! Triple touch, quadruple touch, and a juggle into the end zone to the big tall receiver. Wow. And number 11, Yamaguchi, runs Evans under the disc.
Oh, he just sold him a bit of a dummy there, didn't he?
And now Japan with an opportunity. It's 12-13. They can tie it up here if they score. But the pressure, there's a high stall count. Barr can't quite close the gap quick enough. But still, the Japanese are not out and about yet. It's Honor with the disc, who hits number 11, Yamaguchi, on the sideline. Once again, Honor.
Faking the hammer.
Will he throw it this time? Yes, he does. It's just back for no gain. The Japanese calling their shots, but they're not being open here.
Just on that sideline position again. Now they get it over to the other side.
That's a relieving pass. Wow, but very good job there by the Australian defense to hold it up in this position. As they go to the far sideline and more pressure being applied. They're really clamping down the Australians on this sideline. Big mark from Mark Evans, lot of hands.
Oh.
Barr reads it perfectly.
Thank you very much, says Seb Barr.
And Evans makes no mistake about that one. To make it 14-12, and that will mean that Australia has 3 opportunities now
to close out this game.
Wow, geez, and just the pressure there from the Australians. Got the disc back after some really great work from the Japanese to get the block. But wow, Barr, just such a great read of the game, so experienced, just a great mixed player. One of the greatest mixed players I think that Australia has produced in the last decade or two, and finishes it off nicely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Australian coaching staff will be pretty happy with the defensive effort today. And they've really felt like it. You know, we've talked about some points where maybe they haven't been able to build the pressure on the Japanese team, but they've really slowed them down. And I'm sure that that tempo control is something that Dan Rule and his team's looking for. But it's really been the Australian offense that hasn't quite fired as smoothly as it did in Sydney.
Very, very true. And you saw, I think the Japanese have been doing a much better job defensively as well, and that has contributed. But the defensive offense struggling maybe sometimes.
Absolutely. So now we're back. Japan with the disc. We'll see Shimada with the disc. Back now to Koike. Back to Shimura. Along to Inoue. Back now to Inamura. Moving it out to the sideline now, but they're getting held up. There's that throw out into space.
Fujioka over Andrews.
We're really enjoying that matchup for sure. Shimura back now to Inamura. Back out to Koike. Held up here. Fujioka. Hammer? No, fakes it. Oh, that's a lovely throw. Straight back through. So Japan not making big inroads, but just looking really comfortable with the disc. Back out to Fujioka.
On this sideline though.
Yep, it's not where they want to be. They quickly move it back to the middle, but then back to Koike on the sideline. Shimura, he'll be looking to get that back in field, and that's a lovely pass to Fujioka. Oh, sorry, now with Fujioka. And then she just looks for that big... Oh. Yeah. Well, she saw it.
Yeah, the wind.
The wind just took that away. Looked like Lochlan Wise was in pretty good position there, even if it had stayed in. But the wind took that well out of the field.
It's Australian opportunity to finish the game now. Game point potentially.
Wise with the disc. Moves it inside to Andrew. Fakes the big hit, but back to Wise. Australians find themselves a little deep now. They shorten it up. Tullett with the disc in hand. And he sends that throw. And I think he is looking for Lochlan Wise.
Oh, it's Vivien Stettner.
Vivien Stettner. Just in the right place.
Lets out a primal scream. And easy as you like. Wow. The scraps picked up. And that means Australia 2 from 2. They win the test match here at Punt Road Oval in Melbourne against the Japanese Hayate.
What an exciting game, Max. I think in that point you could see as Tullett hit that throw, you see Prentice have a look to see what's going on. Is it for me? No, I think that's going over my head. Wise and Shimura get up high, and then Stettner As you said, the primal scream, trademark Stetner.
The experience to finish it off. And look at that throw from Cupcake. The width he got on that pass. Just amazing to see. Sure his Bravo teammates, if any of them are watching from the States today, will be happy with that one. And the Australians close it out with a break, no less, to win 15-12. What a game that was, Kylie, and what a series it's been. It's been just such an exciting opportunity to have the Japanese players here in Australia. And today, I feel like both teams could really be proud of what they showed on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, this was more the sort of game that we expected to see in Sydney, and I think it's a real testament to the Japanese team that they were able to recover from that flight, recover from a heavy loss on Friday, and really compete right to the end in that game today.
Yes, and we may even get some audio from in the Spirit Circle here. You can see both players, both teams, very excited to.
Looks like we're going to get some audio from the circle.
We were really happy to have such an awesome opportunity to play an international test match with you guys and see how well spirited and how strong you guys were. Let's meet in the finals of Poland.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Team Japan, I first want to say how much we thank you for coming to Australia to play us.
本当にここから来てくれて本当にありがとうございました。
Both our teams are used to travelling long distances to play tournaments, and we understand how difficult it is to get off the plane and play straight away.
私たちも、オーストラリア人も距離長いの試合大会とか行くのは大変も分かってるからもうありがとう。
So we were really impressed with the game you gave us on Friday night, but even more impressed with the game you gave us today.
それを考えたらもう金曜日の試合で本当に興奮してるし、今日もすごくいい試合やったよかったと思います。
So thank you very much for coming, and for this game, it was really hard fought, and the spirit was fantastic. And I hope that we can continue this tradition of Australia against Japan to beat the rest of the world when it comes to Poland.
この試合もすごくいい戦いで、ポーランドも私たちを世界を見せるの、私たちの力を見せよう。
Arigato. Thank you. Crocs, let's have 3 massive cheers for Team Japan! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Great stuff. Wonderful there to get a little bit of insight inside of the Spirit Circle. Clearly, excellently spirited games. We had it was just a clean fought, hard fought, like 2 games and there were really nothing to speak of in terms of spirit, which is exactly what you want. Let the rules get out of the way and let the players play.
And you could really start to get a sense of the bond that's developed between these 2 teams, and I think it's so lovely to see the mutual respect there. And as you said, the spirit was excellent and the quality was high.
Now we're just going to go to a quick little post-game analysis from our stats team, Rob and Andy. So, boys, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you picked up in that game?
Yeah, so the second half sort of more of the same, I would say. In terms of conversion rates, what we were looking at, So Australia in this game were broken on offense. So they had 10 offensive holds out of 14 points on offense. And Japan had 8 offensive holds out of 13 points on offense. So the Aussies did a little bit better job of putting in the chances they had. And I think that really came through in that last point. They came through with a couple of jump balls on some hucks, but it really paid off for them. And yeah.
Amazing. Any other stats you'd pull out of that game then?
Yep. So we've got one other one, but I'm going to let my boy Rob take that one.
Yeah, so something that we've seen a lot and historically with Japanese teams is that they're very efficient with the disc. They move it around a lot. Japan threw 420 passes, completed 408. So 97% completion rate compared to Australia's only 87.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, literally twice as many passes thrown by the Japanese. And I think that speaks to the strength of the Australians' long game and their ability to turn passes into goals.
Yeah, it's impressive that they can make that conversion rate turn into so many goals. So, thank you, boys, for joining us as we watch the presentation now of the Cup. It's been really great having you guys on the stream, so thank you very much. So it's Jonathan Potts now presenting the Golden Wattle Sakura Trophy, the very first time this has been played for, and it's just been such a wonderful experience, Kylie.
Yeah, and as Jonathan was saying earlier, hopefully this is the start of a fantastic tradition. Plenty of enthusiasm from the crowd here. And I think this will be a really special moment for the Australians to take hold of that cup, hoist it high, and be proud of their efforts in the lead up to what should be a fantastic tournament in Poland.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. There's already been some massive upsets coming out of TEP, a tournament in Colombia. The United States, Canada, and Colombian teams have all played, and the results have been just wildly unpredictable, some would say. And so for Australia and Japan to have a very close game today and 2 really exciting hit-outs, it's going to be anyone's game when we go to Poland, Kylie.
Oh, it's going to be huge. And we see now that we have...
Without further ado, we have a trophy.
Yeah, we're presenting the trophy.
You may also know that this is the first time we've played an international test match between these 2 countries.
Hopefully you can hear the audio here from Jonathan Potts.
It's the Golden Wattle Sakura Cup. Golden Wattle, as we all know, is the national flower of Australia. And Sakura is the cherry blossom from Japan, which is
So Jonathan just talking through the Golden Wattle, cherry blossom or Sakura, naming of the cup.
In the test series, the cup will be available to be won again. But for now, Australia is the holder of the cup, and I invite the captains of Australia to come forward to accept the trophy.
Calling up captains of Australia, Peter Blakely, Sarah Wentworth. So many years of experience between the 2 of them. And there they go. Proudly hoisting the cup for Australia.
And well deserved. Both had really spectacular games today, and this led their teams just so well. And hopefully the first of many for these guys.
Thank you very much for turning out today to see us play. Can we give another round of applause for Team Japan for putting on such a fantastic game?
Wentworth thanking both the crowd and Team Japan for the fantastic display that they've had today.
Also who put on such a great display today for the crowd. I'd also like to thank all the people who spent countless hours organising this, putting all the details together. Can we have a huge round of applause for them too?
Wentworth just thanking everybody who's been involved in this series, and it's been a massive logistical effort, hasn't it?
Absolutely. 2 cities, 2 days, and mental.
This is the inaugural test match series. We hope this tradition continues for a long time in the future, and we would love your support. Thanks very much.
Wonderfully said there by the co-captain, Wentworth.
And players, now can we have 3 massive cheers for the crowd?
Traditional cheers for the crowd. Wentworth for the final bow.
The next important thing is we go to the corner hotel
So Max.
I know. Well, as everybody, leaving, going to the corner hotel for some well-deserved socialising after this. Kylie, how would you sum the whole experience up, the game today and the test matches?
I mean, I think it was, I think it's absolutely incredible that Ultimate Australia has taken this direction, and it was a small idea that started off, and I think it's bubbled into something fantastic. And as Jonathan Potts mentioned earlier, there's plenty to learn out of this, but I think given the schedule and given the magnitude of what we've asked of the volunteers and the players and everybody involved, I think they've just put on a fantastic show. It's certainly been a pleasure to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you've enjoyed watching it on the stream, whether you're watching it live or whether you watch this later on the replay, thank you, first of all, for joining us. We've done it for you guys. It's all about the spectators and putting on a high quality elite show. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Send your support through the Australian Ultimate social media channels. You can also connect with the Aussie Crocs at Aussie Crocs, either on Instagram or Twitter. They're also on Facebook. Make sure you let us know that you enjoyed the game, because that's what we love hearing from. We love hearing from the fans. And I say personally, Kylie, I'm sure you'd agree, it's been a real pleasure to bring you such high quality Ultimate and be given the opportunity to commentate kind of elite game, the level of which we probably haven't seen in Australia for a decade or more.
Oh, look, it's absolutely been an honour, and I think we've both enjoyed ourselves immensely, and being able to be right down next to the action and seeing the level of effort that both of these teams are putting in on every point. And as we talked about, the level of spirit, it's just been incredibly impressive.
Yeah, we're going to, as you just keep watching these, some of the highlights from the second half, which was just an absolute battle. We can't stress enough that it has been just a great opportunity to have the Japanese team come out. It is a rarity to see the Japanese team play together. It's a rarity to see the Japanese team play together, but it's been such a great opportunity. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on the stream, and we will hopefully join you when this test match rolls around again in a year's time. But Kylie, thank you so much for joining me, and that will conclude our coverage of the Australian test matches between Australia and Japan.
Well, signing out. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Cheers.